take your seats. The program is about to begin. Take your seats, the program is about to begin. Distinguished guests, please welcome event co-chair for the Fine Arts Work Center 50th Anniversary and Summer Award Celebration, Terrence, Meck.
Welcome, everyone. This is an amazing night ahead. Look at this space. I mean, this is absolutely gorgeous. So as our night goes on and the lights start dimming outside, you're going to be able to really experience this wonderful multimedia presentation that we have going on here. So the night is just going to keep on getting better as we eat, drink, and hear from these amazing people tonight. So once again, my name is Terrence Meck. I am one of the honored co-chairs for tonight's evening, the 50th anniversary celebration of the Fine Arts Work Center. Very easy job tonight of thanking some wonderful people and then welcoming our host of the night. So I'm just going to go right into it and we will get the night started. So first and foremost, I need to and can't wait to thank my fellow co-hosts for this evening, the amazing Margaret Murphy, the wonderful Neil Balkowitz, and the always fabulous Dan Mullen. It has been a true honor to work work with all of you over this last year on this evening, and I thank you for welcoming me into your circle for tonight. And Neil, a special thanks to you and Max Ultimate Food for the delicious, amazing dinner that we're all going to enjoy. And a very special thank you again to Dan, who was the chair of this dinner for an unbelievable 9 years in a row. You are an inspiration to so many in this town, to me especially. Your friendship means a lot in what you do, not just for the Fine Arts Work Center, but for so much is remarkable and wonderful, so thank you. I also want to thank the staff of the Fine Arts Work Center. We work very hard, day in and day out throughout the year, and especially leading up to this event. Executive Director Michael Robert. And I also have to thank the wonderful Beth Werner. We've got so much for tonight. Behind the scenes, in front of the scenes, you and your staff is truly remarkable, and tonight would not be happening without your hard work. It's been really fun doing this with you, so thank you. So just a few more thank yous before we start our program. To all of our vice chairs here tonight, our event host committee members, and all of our generous sponsors. Your early commitment to tonight and the sellout of over 300 people in this fabulous tent is because of you, so thank you so much. Second, a big thank you to the Work Center's Board of Trustees, many of which are here tonight, your advisors, and especially all of the fellows who are with us tonight. And I think there's more than 20 here. So we salute you for your great work throughout the years, for being a fellow, and for continuing the work that you do. I hope you feel the love and support in this room tonight, because art is so important in this time especially, and what you all are doing is truly amazing. So thank you so much. I also want to quickly acknowledge we have one of our state representatives here tonight, Senator Julian Sear. Good to see you. All of our award recipients tonight are also going to receive a special recognition from the state of Massachusetts in your honor that Julian brought with him. So thank you to Julian and your office for making that happen. So now we will move right on. It is my great pleasure to welcome to the stage an incredibly wonderful woman and someone who I feel very lucky to not only call a fellow West Ender, but a dear friend. She is not only hilariously funny and also an award-winning entertainer, but she has one of the kindest souls and truly one of the most gentle hearts of anyone I know. And you know I mean that very dearly. So Provincetown is so lucky to call her one of our very own. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our host for the night, Kate Clinton.
Terrence, and thank you for all you do. Good evening, and this is our gala celebration. This is the Fine Arts Work Center's 50th Anniversary Summer Awards. Let's just hear it for that idea. Welcome all you fine artists, you painters, you potters, you photographers, you mixed media artists, you novelists, you poets, essayists, playwrights, memoirists. Welcome all you who love and support our fine artists. You fine patrons, collectors, donors, appreciators, you residents, you fellows, you bedfellows, because that does happen. And all the board members, the trustees, let's a big round of applause for our interns and volunteers. Welcome. Yeah. citizen of Provincetown. Tonight we celebrate 5 decades of creative legacy that is the Fine Arts Work Center. It is a legacy that has supported many artists and writers who have gone on to number among the best in their creative fields. And their creative work deepens our humanity and insists on a more progressive, open, and expansive worldview. It is an aesthetic and an ethic that infuses our town. It allows us to celebrate that tonight an art house has not been converted into a brew house. I enjoy watching beer being brewed as much as the next person, for sure. But let's give a toast. Raise your glasses now to the continuation of art houses everywhere. And to the art in every house. Tonight we are here to celebrate the achievements of a remarkable group of honorees. Ai Weiwei, Salvator and Josephine Delgado, and those who are here in spirit. Your presence is proof that art matters. You know, in these final days of the Viagra scene epic, when every week is like living in an episode of drunk history. Most recently, for example, 2 words, Helsinki Summit. With Putin, Mr. KGB, adjusting his World Cup and Trump looking like he's sitting on a can, thinking that he is a player. It's the kind of thing that really makes Rachel Maddow's head blow up. You know, Putin is to Trump as chess is to Angry Birds. The Viagra scene epic, please God, it's good to be together. I am honored to be your MC this evening, between 2 ferns. I'm so glad that Terrence and the dinner committee found me on Angie's list. And thank you, when Terrence introduced me and said my last name, thank you all for not being triggered. And some of you would be weeping and wailing, others of you would be screaming, lock her up. Tonight's program is divided into 2 parts. The first will recognize 3 honorees uniquely tied to the Work Center who have roots here in Provincetown. And the second half, we will recognize an artist of international acclaim and a generous patron who enables creativity to thrive. Before I introduce our board president, I would like to remind you that this is always a sanctuary space. As far as we are concerned, we are still members of the Paris Climate Accords. Thank you. I've got 20 minutes of jokes about paper straws, but I'm not going to do them right now. As your comedy concierge, it's my job to move the program along, so here we go. To begin the first half of our program and to share with you the story of the Fine Arts Work Center, please welcome the former executive director and now board president, Margaret Murphy.
Hello everyone, and thank you so much for being here tonight. When our co-founders conceived of the Fine Arts Work Center, they envisioned a place where emerging artists and writers could work without interruption in the company of their peers in the beauty and solitude of Provincetown off-season. There is a dynamic energy to bringing artists and writers together. Witness the lifelong friendship between two of tonight's honorees, painter Sam Messer and late writer Denis Johnson, who collaborated in numerous ways, including portraiture and filmmaking, since first meeting each other during their fellowship at the Work Center in 1981. Poet and Fine Arts Work Center co-founder Stanley Kunitz said, "Like many young writers and painters, I felt I was working in the dark, that I needed some support from others around me. I vowed if I were ever in a position to do that, I would do what I could to create and exchange a community of artists." Well, thank you, Stanley, and here we are. Years later, the community envisioned by Stanley and his co-founders, including Robert Motherwell, Fritz Voltman, Myron Stout, Jack Torkov, Hudson D. Walker, and Salvator and Josephine Valdeo, is a stunning success. Past fellows number among the best in their fields and include artists Jack Pearson, Ellen Gallagher, Elliot Hundley, and Lisa Yaskavich, as well as writers Ann Patchett, Jhumpa Lahiri, Michael Cunningham, Jacqueline Woodson, Marie Howe, and so many others, including those who are with us here tonight. Will the fellows in attendance please stand and let us all give you a huge round of applause. Since the Work Center's inception, we have awarded 1,000 fellowships. This past year, a pool of 1,600 writers and visual artists applied for 10 writing fellowships and 10 visual arts fellowships. The blind jury process is rigorous, and fellows are selected solely on the merit of their work. They receive a living space, a studio, a modest stipend, and each other, with nothing asked in return, although most of them take the opportunity to create some work. Work Center fellows have gone on to win Pulitzer Prizes, National Book Awards, the Prix de Rome, Whiting Awards, and Guggenheim Fellowships. Our writers have published collections of poetry, fiction, and nonfiction, too numerous to count. Our artists have exhibited their work on New York's High Line, at Mass MoCA, the New Museum, the Whitney, and the Venice Biennale, among many other places worldwide. Building on creative excellence, the Work Center's summer program offers 100 workshops annually in creative writing and the visual arts that has served more than 5,000 students since its inception. Our innovative online writing program supports a global literary community of over 1,000 writers year-round. At a time in history when our urgent problems can seem to outweigh the importance of creativity and the imagination, we believe that this is precisely the moment to support the arts. There is grace and sustenance in writing and art, and we are doing everything at FAWC that we can to help them thrive. And I have great news, you can help too. To celebrate our 50th, the Work Center has launched a $5 million campaign to ensure the vitality of our fellowship program and to improve our historic facilities that nurture it. This is an effort to sustain something essential, the power of art and writing to make this town, this country, and this world a better place for everyone. So thank you again for being here with us this evening. There's quite a bit more to come, so I'll pass things back to Kate. Thank you.
Let's hear it again for Margaret, for all you do. And she's so adorable, right? She's totally adorable. It's almost like she has a hat on, a secret hat, and it says, "Make art great again." So now it's time for our awards. Our first award is the Fine Arts Work Center Founder Award 2018, and it goes to Salvator and Josephine Del Deo. Forged a path of true believers, believers in art, in the wild beauty of the outer Cape, which Josephine fought hard to protect, and most especially, believers in the Work Center, which they co-founded in 1968. Yes, thank you, that's true. It's all true, I know. You weren't even born. Okay. Sal's work is represented by his longtime gallerist Berta Walker. And his work is included in the collections of the Smithsonian National Portrait Gallery and Harvard University. Josephine's passion as an artist activist yielded fruit we all enjoy, including the establishment of the Cape Cod National Seashore. And the Provincetown National Register District. Tonight we honor Salvador and Josephine Del Deo, but first let's take a look at some of their lives. So hot. Oh my God. Anyway, please welcome to the stage to receive the Fine Arts Work Center Founder Award, Sal Del Deo.
Thank you, one and all. my better half, Josephine, she used to love to speak to people. She was really good at it. And I've tried to come up to it, but I just can't make it. But I'll do the best I can. This is quite an emotional night tonight. To think that 50 years have gone by and the work center is still thriving. I can't believe it. It's, I mean, when we were starting to conceive this idea, I was a member of the board of the Art Association, and there was quite a lot of opposition to it because we were saying that we need a mother hen to take care of the little chickens and the ducklings who were still in a state of hatching. But who could we get? We figured the Art Association would be the place, the logical place, but there was a lot of opposition to it, believe me. But finally, we had some wonderful people there that came forth, and we had enough of a majority vote to have the Art Association house the fledgling work center in those very fragile days, those very early days of forming something that we didn't really know ourselves what it would become. It's like, you know, it's like a magical thing. And we finally got the association, and they supported us so wonderfully at those early days. And I think the association when we were like the first year, after the second year, I met my good friend, who was such a gentleman and such a wonderful man, Richard Florsheim, who was on the board of the Art Association for many years, and most supportive of this concept, this crazy idea that we had, that we presented to them. And he said, "Sal, looks like it's going to be launched." He said, "But let's hope it always stays lean." He couldn't conceive, and I couldn't conceive that we are fat and happy and still thriving. So Dick, please forgive us for being so successful. At any rate, I just want to say that, you know, I'm going to give you a little bit of a flashback. Some guardian angel was up above, and they looked at me and said, "You're going this direction." I was 17 years of age, and you know, I wanted to be a painter, but I had no idea where to go and what to do or anything, except that I wanted to paint. So the angel said to me, "Salvator, you got to go there, because this place at the end of this spit of land is where your brother Silvestro came in 1943, with a painter who was named Edgar Corbridge from Providence, Rhode Island. That's where we came from. And he came here with Edgar and his wife for a weekend. And I remember it like it was yesterday. Finally, we came to bed because we shared the same bed. He said, "Sally," they call me Sally in Providence. My sister still calls me Sally. So I'm Sally. She said, "Sally, I went to a place this weekend, and someday you have to go there, because it's fishing boats on the beach. They paint their boats and they take care of them, and the painters are all around them painting. It's a paradise for you. The landscape is great." I didn't know what he was talking about. So then we go back years later, and the angel said to me, "You're going to go to Provincetown." And I came to Provincetown in 1946. And I can tell you, then, as it is now, I think I found the paradise that I was hoping for. Provincetown has provided me and given me the nourishment that I needed to be a painter. I'm just an ordinary painter, like like most of us. But I aspired to a high degree of excellence and a high degree of accomplishment. But it's only for the few. But anyway, the struggle up there is really worth it. Really, it's a great thing to do. To aspire, always go to the bar higher than yourself, and that's what we tried to do. So Provincetown became the plasma that kept me going. I came here in 1946, and I discovered the world of painting. It nourished me. And then years later, after I came back from the service, I met my woman who was destined to be my wife, and she was almost earmarked for me because Harry Kemp, the poet of the dunes, said that, Salvatore, I have met your mate for life. So I said, really? I said, yes, she's not only a very gifted poet, but she's a musician. She plays beautiful violin, and she's quite a woman. I said, but is she pretty? And I think that if you look at any of the photographs of my dear wife, you'll see that she was pretty. But more than that, more than just being pretty, she was an inspiration to me. She always raised the bar like you're supposed to do. I wish I'd kept that letter. I do have the letter, but it's home. When she said on our 60th anniversary that she couldn't think of another person to be with all those years, that we could discuss Velasquez at breakfast, Tolstoy at lunch, and Karl Marx at supper, and still go to bed together. So now, here it is, 2018, and unfortunately my wife is not here with me, but she is in spirit. And I know that she would enjoy every minute of this, because she was equally as involved in the creation of the Fine Arts Work Center as I was. In fact, she probably worked twice as much as I did about it, because she was very particular about things being the right way, I was more casual, but she put the mortar in the cement, and that's what made it stick. And she was so indispensable to me in so many areas. I miss it very much.
Yeah.
But we went on and we helped with a bunch of people who are unsung, who should be remembered, who nourished this concept of the Fine Arts Work Center. And unfortunately, they're not given enough praise. Yes, and I'm not blaming the people that are being used, because that's publicity, and that's very important. But we must never forget that the beginnings were just simple people who had an idea, and we all shared that idea together. And that was the glue that started the thing. People like Claude Jensen and I can't remember all the names now. But there's 6 or 7 of us that were, working together, because always under the umbrella of that wonderful man who had this Jove-like idea, Hudson Walker, the father of Berta Walker. That guy was unbelievable. He was so understanding, he was so giving, and he just sprinkled the water on us and we sprouted. But he was the water, and he donated his money to create the first director for the Fine Arts Work Center out of his own pocket, by the way. He paid his salary. I mean, these are things that I get upset about, because these people were so instrumental in creating this wonderful concept that's grown way beyond our ideas, imagination. Who could imagine that it would be so successful? So here we are, we're celebrating, and I want to thank all the people that have never been mentioned who were part of this thing. And those who have been mentioned, I celebrate them too, because they also have. I don't have much more to say, but because my wife is not here, if you will beg me, beg your indulgence, I would like to recite a poem that Josephine wrote in 1953 when we were first together, and that way I feel that she's with us tonight. So please forgive me, it's very short. As often as I come to here, to the end of it, sinking down sunset, winging my heart's passage with the gull homeward, as often do I rediscover heaven, which is Provincetown.
Congratulations to Salvator and Josephine and their families. Our second award is the Fine Arts Work Center Award for Distinguished Achievements in Arts and Letters 2018. And it goes to Denis Johnson and Sam Messer. Generate as passionate a readership as the late Denis Johnson, whose fiction peered deep into the heart of the desperate and the seeking. With short stories like those in Jesus' Son and his National Book Award-winning Tree of Smoke, Johnson fulfills writing's highest calling, radically inclusive work that reveals hugely important truths. Sam Messer is a painter whose work has received every imaginable accolade. His work is included in the permanent collections of the Metropolitan Museum of Art, the Whitney Museum of American Art, the Museum of Fine Arts Boston, and elsewhere. A master and a mentor, he is also a friend and was a great friend to our co-honoree, Denis Johnson, with whom he collaborated for decades, following their fellowships together at the Fine Arts Work Center. So congratulations to Sam and Denis. Let's watch a clip of their most recent collaboration, Denis the Pirate. And Denis was originally crafted for Sam's own daughter.
Ever since the earliest humans learned to sail boats on the sea, there have been pirates. Their main job is to steal treasure and bury it in secret places. But they also sink ships, take prisoners, collect strange animals, and perform tricks of wild magic.
Sam Messer and Dennis's wife, Cindy Johnson, to receive the Fine Arts Work Center Award for Distinguished Achievement in Arts and Letters.
Thank you so much. Dennis would have loved this honor. Provincetown and the Fine Arts Work Center were part of his personal lore right from the beginning. When he came here as a fellow in 1981, he had been telling everyone that he was going to Provincetown, Maine. He even told the cab driver in Boston, who quickly schooled him on the whereabouts of his destination. Now, his navigation skills weren't much, but he made up for it in his creative inspiration. And when he realized that he was headed out to the Scorpion's Tail of the Cape, his novel, Resuscitation of a Hanged Man, and his life as an artist truly began. Because it was here, living with artists of all kinds, that Denis first imagined his own life as an artist. And that being an artist, literary and otherwise, was his calling in this life. So it was very important to him when he came here. And, you know, he loved this place. It meant so much to him. I wish he could be here tonight. I miss him so much. Denis always said this place had a vortex of power, that it made a spiral of the land and of the light. And he believed that creative people were naturally drawn here. Hence all of you. And 50 years of FAWC. So thank you. Thanks to the Fine Arts Work Center, you nurtured a genius. And let's keep it going for another 50 years. Support FAWC. Thank you.
First, I want to thank Salvator and Josephine, who I never met, and all the other founders, because as with Denis, this place changed my life. I wouldn't be obviously standing here if it wasn't for the Work Center. And I know just how important it is and how hard it is, and particularly in this country and probably the rest of the world, to nurture young visual artists or writers. Musicians, theater gets nurtured much easier because people can come and sit in front of people. But it's a radical idea to try to actually to nurture young visual artists and writers. And it takes other artists, I think, to do that, but it takes other people to keep that going. And over the years, I'm not going to talk about myself and Denis, but you know, when I first came here, I never met a living writer before. And I hadn't, you know, I thought writers were all dead. And Denis, I think, kind of felt the same way about visual artists. And we looked at each other as weird animals. But we instinctively bonded. And like when we did our show in the Walker Gallery, for some reason, which I can't understand now, and I don't know what we were thinking, but we collaborated and made a project called Red Darkness. And that changed my life, and I think it changed Denis's life. And we, you know, he was my brother and my closest friend. And so I just want to say that there's been a lot of political jokes tonight, and we're going to honor FAWC. And I just think that it's a radical act to make art, to support art, and to even be an artist. So what I would suggest for everyone is, I think I'm going to throw out, we need a huge ad campaign. We need an image that is just indelible. And I think that for you all, and this is a fundraiser, and I'm all for that, because I wouldn't be standing here if it wasn't for this place. I wouldn't be the artist I am. And as Cindy said, I realized that I could be an artist. Myron Stout was here, and so I met other young artists, and then I met Myron Stout, who was blind and still making work. And I thought, well, this is something you can do for your whole life. And there's actually a way to do it. My father had stamp vending machines. I had no idea what it meant to be an artist. So I just think for all of you that I think Tony Kushner might be here. I saw that play when I was younger and it changed my life and thought, okay, you can actually do things that can change the world. So everyone in this room has that opportunity to keep supporting people like Denis and Salvator and all the people. I know some of the fellows that are coming next year that are some of my students. So I thank you all for making this possible and keeping this going. So thank you.
There's a lot more in store, but we're going to take a short break and you're going to have your dinner, and I'll see you in a little bit. Thank you.